Racing's Oliver Söderström and Sebastian Balthazar. How are you going to pick a favourite to watch? Well, pick a colour scheme. Go for the pink, yellow and green of an Oregon car. Go for the white, blue and black. Go for purple, go for red. Choose life. If you're choosing carbon black, then you're hedging your bets, because that's about half the field. It's an awful lot of bare carbon cars. You can see there Mattia Michelotto with the white and the yellow and blue pinstripes of Vincenzo Sospiri Racing. And there's 2 or 3 of those cars in the field. A number of teams like Target Racing, VSR, Autosport have got multiple cars here. Iron Lynx as well with their yellow cars. Fairly easy to pick out. Oregon with the Neapolitan ice cream colours, and oh my goodness, look at the rain in the air. Well, getting on for an hour before this is going to be finished. We may be needing those wet tyres, and this will not be a sub-3-second Formula One tyre change either. The best that the teams can hope for is that if the rain arrives, it will do so somewhere in the 20 minutes to 30 minutes period of the race, and they can combine a tyre change with potentially their mandatory pit stop. If they're forced in earlier, then the mandatory pit stops will still need to be served. Well, this is where the battle lines will be drawn up for the season. First race weekend, first race. Not only are we in Italy, we're not even just in any Italian track, we're on the one that is closest to home for Lamborghini, Automobili Lamborghini, and for the Scuderia Corsa as well. Not just the manufacturer of the road cars, but the race teams are based here. There you see the Boutsen team car. A little bit further down the order again, perhaps, than they would like to be. Qualifying was hard to find a clean lap. As you might maybe imagine, just watch this lot streaming down the hill towards the end of the lap. With 51 other cars out there in the same session, all trying to find a lap. I don't know how anybody got even anything resembling a quick lap together, but they did. Just look at it, what a sight. Look at that, just streaming all the way up the hill. Very glibly saying there are 52 cars on the grid. 26 rows of Lamborghini Huracan Super Trofeo Evo 2s. By the time the last of them come across the start-finish line in this rolling start, the leaders will be thinking about their braking point for the first corner. We are about to get the season underway here at the Autodromo Internazionale Enzo Edino Ferrari in Imola. Italy, the venue for the first race weekend of the Lamborghini Super Trofeo Europe. 50 minutes of racing, mandatory pit stops, and who knows what the weather gods may throw into the equation. The gold car on the right of your picture, Amaury Bonduelle, getting ready to lead them away. And already there's contact. One of the Oregon cars is in the barriers backwards. Looked like he had contact from an Iron Lynx machine. There's debris and yellow flags wave. We will not go green. We will not go green. Extra formation lap, and it looked very much as though maybe one of the Mechanic by Bigera cars has had damage. There's definitely bits of Huracan Super Trofeo sticking up. The medical team follow the field through, and this is another opportunity now for everybody to try and weave a little bit. Now, when we get to the end of the first timing sector, we might see who is missing. But the first of the Oregon cars was Leonardo Caglione. He gets tagged from behind and spat off. Not much damage there, other than to the tyres. Ay, ay, ay. So who had the damage? Somebody's lost the right front corner, I think. Is that 22 car, Joachim Galasch? Maybe so. Laughing at his friend getting caught in replay. No one is safe from our cameraman. round of applause there for the marshals. And why not? The Lions Club of Bologna have supported racing here selflessly. They provide most of the marshals here at Imola, and the Lions Club of Bologna are the marshals club, the motors club that we give great thanks to for allowing racing to happen here. So we are getting ready, I think, at the end of this. This is the 61 car trying to fire back up. Fire in the hold, sort of. So Leonardo Caglioni sharing with Enzo Girazzi, and he's spun the car as well. That's really not helping. So you can see being pushed back by the marshals. That's a short race for him, I'm afraid. Leonardo in the pro class. Getting ready to restart the race. Hopefully this time, although with a car stranded out on the circuit, we might have a little bit of a problem with that. Start will be investigated by the stewards. Let's try and go for a second time. So Amaury Bonduelle on pole in the gold number 28 car. Alongside him, Mattia Michelotto. Alberto De Falco, the car that's predominantly black with a blue stripe up the middle and a white driver's side. He's third on the grid. Georgi Dimitrov, fourth on the grid. Away we go, it's cleaner this time, although there are wheels all over the grass on the inside. They rush down towards the braking area at Tamburello, and it's Alberto De Falco trying to come through on the inside, doesn't get second. He tucks into third behind Mattia Michelotto. Everybody else is fourth. Not going to try and pick the bones out of this until it's settled down a little bit, but up to fourth place has gone the Target Racing car of Oliver Soderstrup, so he has got ahead of Alberto De Falco. Milos Pavlovic up to fifth position. He's got the green nose, which doesn't help. There he is as he coming up the hill. He is in fifth position, up from seventh on the grid. So that left-hand side, the odd numbers, seems to have been a little bit more favourable at the start. Of course, it does funnel you down onto the inside in that first corner at Tamburello. Now they climb over the Piratella, down into Acqua Minerale for the first time. Then starting to climb back up towards Variante Alta. The old track used to go straight ahead where there is now grass. We will see cars go straight ahead under braking there in the race, because that is almost inevitable. Hopefully not on the first lap. They're being maybe a little cautious with slightly colder tyres. Not quite cautious enough. On the grass, the number 3. And that's the Lewandowskis. So Andrei Lewandowski starting that car. Milos Pavlovic leading Proam. Amaury Bonduelle, the race leader, leading the pro class at the moment. Lead AM car is Glenn McGee, our American pairing in the number 99 car. He's in 12th place. You can see the green highlights on the screen. That's the AM class. And pale blue highlights. The Lamborghini Cup being led by Paolo Bilieri from Autosport Racing. And he is currently just outside the top 30. Battles under braking all the way down the order as they sweep out of Tamburello, out of Villeneuve, the next chicane, and then start to head towards Tosa. There they turn hard left and climb back up the hill and into the pit lane. Yeah, that is the car that started third, Alberto De Falco. No, it's not. That's the Orbicourse car of Cyril Saleh. So now why has he come into the pit lane? We didn't see contact, but that doesn't mean there wasn't any. Just seen a flash of lightning in a very black sky behind the pit lane. 26 car back out on track, so he drove through the pits. Dropping down the order dramatically now is the 66 car as well. Not quite sure what's happened to him. Bouncing through the chicane for the second time at the top of the hill. Starting now to form into little battles up and down the order as our race leader, Amaury Bonduelle, eases away. There's Milos Pavlovic with the green highlights on his car, and contact 71 down the inside, that's Doogie Bolger trying to go down the inside in number 9, the target racing car of Oliver Söderström. Didn't quite get by him for 8th place. But Söderström from 5th on the grid. Bolger has come up from 14th place, so he's had a really strong start. Halved his grid position almost. Nearly got through there. But that mistake, or that attempt to get by that didn't work, is going to leave him a little bit under pressure. 48 is second in Proam, DL Racing's Andrea Fontana. And the blue behind him is the number 57 Artline car of Egor Orodchev. Egor's had plenty of World Endurance Championship experience over the last few seasons, now finding a home at Lamborghini Super Trofeo Europe. And he is really piling on the pressure here as they climb the hill up to the Piratella. Oh, looking to go through. They're both way offline there. That's going to make them very slow out of Piratella and plunging down the hill into Acqua Minerale. There's not quite enough room for Orodchev to get alongside there. Well, there probably was, but not successfully and or safely. Can't always rely on racing drivers to go for safe, but they do try to edge their bets in terms of successful, and Orodchev goes around the outside. That's a good move up to Variante Alta. Very good move indeed. So he moves up a spot. They've got Glenn McGee right behind the Leipert Motorsport car that is leading in the AM class. He's having a great run here, the American driver. Well, the incident at the start line will be investigated by the stewards. They're going to look at 22, Joachim Galasch, for spinning around the car. Ahead of him on the grid, Leonardo Caglione. Well, we know that Caglione ended up in the pit wall, and unless he reversed into Galasch, it's sort of hard to see how the penalty is going to go any way other than towards Joachim Galasch. We'll leave that to the stewards. It's not snowing. This is a kind of, not blossom, but bud coating from the nearby trees. It's a very regular feature of springtime and early summer races here in Imola. It is not snow, but there is definitely lightning flashing. I promise you it's not snowing. I know it looks like it's blowing a blizzard, but that's the wind coming, and the storm and the rain are behind it. No umbrellas up yet, but everybody is sheltering under the roof of the grandstand, and look at the wind. They're not going to survive another 20 minutes before they need to pit for tyres at this rate, are they? You can see light rain in the background, but when the cameras come back to look at the pit buildings, it is as black as night. And this is absolutely astonishing. The pictures here, remarkable. Drive-through penalty for the 22 car of Joachim Galasch for causing that incident. Well, whether by accident or design, if you ruin somebody's race, it is inherent in the stewards that they ruin yours as a result, and that will do some substantial damage to his race. Of course, the Oregon car didn't actually make it through and had to get rescued on its first lap as well. So Caglione is a long way down in 43rd place. See the brakes glowing now. This is going to be like a day-night race. There you go. Everybody up on their camera gantries. Now this is where the TV directors and the safety crews have to start thinking about what happens when an electrical storm arrives. Drive-through penalty also for car number 26. That's Cyril Satellis, who was Saleh rather, who was running in 52nd place. We didn't see what that was about, but it clearly dropped him to the tail of the field, and drive-through penalty will do very little to improve his position. Race leader just a second clear at the moment. Nobody in the pit lane yet looking like they're getting wet. It is surely a matter of time. I confidently said that the rain passed us by a little earlier, but you don't know. Amaury Bonduelle seems to be dropping down the order on the timing screen, but the Mark I human eyeball denies that to be the case. So Amaury Bonduelle is still the leader on the road. Mattia Michelotto, there's Bonduelle in the gold car. with the yellow highlights. Mattia Michelotto in second place. Of course, to win the championship, you don't have to win every race, but you like to, if you could. And certainly for guys in that number 6 VSR machine, they are expected to be championship front runners. Well, the track is still bone dry, where it's not covered in leaves and other detritus from trees. Tree blew down right here, actually, just during the track walk on Thursday. And had to be sawn up and the safety fence replaced. Sebastian Baltazar in third, ahead of Alberto De Falco. Milos Pavlovic still in 5th place and still leading in Proam. And second in Proam, Andrea Fontana down in 12th spot. Now the first sign of spots of water on the camera lens. And as you can see from our timing tower, outside the top 20, lots and lots of changes. Track now declared wet. What's the significance of that? It means you are allowed to change tyres, and 2 cars, Jakub Galash and Stefani Pizzucci, are in the pit lane. Well, we know that Galash is likely in for a drive-through. He can't change tyres then, or are they changing tyres now and going to serve a drive-through later? He hasn't come out, and wet weather tyres, pre-scrubbed look. That's quite important to try and take that sealant, the mould release agent, off it. Race leader still easing away. And Amaury Bonduelle has to be balancing speed with caution here, because if you overstep the mark, and as the race leader, who's the first man to discover that it's too wet for the speed you're doing? It's you. If you overstep the mark, then suddenly you give everything away to the guy that you've spent the last 10 minutes getting away from. 36 minutes of the race remain. So when we get down to 30 minutes left, ooh, and a spin for the only purple car in the field. So if you had your money on purple, the Jason Keats and Charlie Martin car, then I'm afraid you may just have dropped back a little in the order. Out of the pit lane comes Diego Lacanto, and I sense that he may have been the first to change onto wets, and that's where it all went wrong for 54. Getting in just a fraction too hot into the chicane. And that was Charlie Martin who started the race. So easy to make those mistakes, particularly if the track is slippery. And you say, Martin, it's only a little bit of dust and a few leaves. Well, leaves aren't tarmac. And although slick tyres, when they're hot, grip very well to leaves, there's not much in the way of traction in a leaf stuck on your tyre or a bunch of leaves stuck on your tyre. So those leaves blowing across the track are definitely going to have an effect on how deep you can brake here at Variante Alta. Great battle going on here for 4th place with the green-nosed Milos Pavlovic. And right behind him, the Iron Lynx car of Georgi Dimitrov. Georgi with the yellow car. There he is. Milos with the green, red and white. And safety car has been scrambled. Now, we haven't seen who's gone off, but it is getting very dark. The Lamborghini Huracan safety car has scrambled out of the pit lane. Leader comes across the line, 1.63 ahead, and that will shrink to not even 1.6 car lengths. And look at the wind. The weather is definitely going to arrive any minute. Looping error down in the Rivazza. Just getting in a little too late onto the gravel between Rivazza 1 and Rivazza 2, and looping around. So safety car picks up our race leader. And that was the Riccardo Iannella and Rodrigo Testa car that had that spin down there between Rivazza 1 and Rivazza 2. And there is debris everywhere. I'm just going to say, my commentary position, I've got the TV monitors, the timing screens here. I've also got a window which is right above all the fans sheltering under the roof of the Tribuna Ayrton Senna here, which is at the end of the pit lane, and they are being blown around like rag dolls. Look at everybody there in the grandstands. Their hoods are up. You wouldn't put an umbrella up because you'll lose it here. You'll be off like Mary Poppins flying over the rooftops. Not quite sure what the Italian reference there is to Mary Poppins. I'm sure it translates pretty well. Everybody's seen Mary Poppins, but yeah, you don't want to put anything up here. So the safety car is out for weather, wind and leaves. All right, it's not the most unusual thing. It's not a wombat on the racetrack or a kangaroo or something, but there we go. Now, Joachim Galasch, who had that drive-through earlier for punting off the Oregon car, is still in the pit lane and has gone a lap down. So I'm assuming that he has served his drive-through penalty and possibly changed tyres as well. So the safety car queue has gone round. Pit lane exit remains open, but when the safety car comes onto the pit straight, it will close once more. And it's not just the leaves from the trees, debris from everywhere is blowing around this racetrack here at Imola. 2 minutes 40 until the pit lane window opens. So, again, the only day I want to be a cameraman is the day I'm not working. Cameramen, hats off everybody in the crew. They're either burned, boiled, fried, drowned, frozen. There's never the perfect weather to be a cameraman. There genuinely isn't. So hats off to all those guys. And also to all the marshals. Our cameramen are earning a living here. The marshals are volunteers, so they're not earning anything. They're just enjoying being part of a racing spectacle like this World Endurance Weekend, like this Lamborghini Super Trofeo Europe season opener. Well, if there's a crazier race in the season, I'm not quite sure. Mind you, going to Spa next, so I suppose all bets are off really in terms of potential weather and potential upset. It was only 2 or 3 years ago when Spa-Francorchamps woke up on race morning to snow on the ground, so I suppose a little bit of wind in Imola might turn out to have been relatively not much of a big deal. Now the sky is lightening behind the pit lane, and that's the direction the weather is coming from, sort of from the east. So the weather's coming from the Adriatic. I have to say, I'm not sure I want to be on the beach in Rimini today either. I mean, this morning was probably lovely because it was really quite sunny, if not enormously warm, but I should think this afternoon has been fairly inclement. Into the pit lane, Stéphane Lemaire, former FIA GT and World Endurance driver. Stéphane Lemaire, half dozen starts at Le Mans in his career, and he has clearly come in either 50 seconds early for the pit stop or has decided to brake for the border and change tyres before there's a rush at the tills. Not that you actually have to pay on the spot for your tyres, you will have prepaid for your tyres, you understand. You're not going and queuing up. So Moribond Duel, well, as the race leader, this is sort of frustrating because he was building an advantage over Mattia Michelotto. But what this is also doing, of course, is using up drive time. Michelotto will hand over the car to his teammate, who we heard from on the grid in, well, probably not too short order, Gilles Stadbauer. And so Gilles will take over the car with what? With slicks on, hoping that the rain isn't really arriving, or will the rain properly arrive and will they need wets? I know everybody's buttoned up to the nines, but it doesn't actually look like it's raining that much. Fans walking past in t-shirts don't appear to have gone for a swim at any stage, so if it is raining, it is only a few spits and spots. I think the wind and the debris, there's nothing the race director can do about the debris. That's just going to be on the track and moved around by the cars. Look how stiff the wind is. Even in the shelter there, coming down from the Piratella, where you really are in the shelter of the hillside, the flag is almost been ripped out of the marshal's hands, and there's debris all over the pit lane. Out comes the all-Belgian car. Rodrigue Guillon has come out of the pit lane in the CMR machine. And although the safety car is out, we are in the pit window. And as a result, as the rain arrives, and now for the first time in the pit lane, or by the pit lane, you can see rain falling. Oh, now this is a real, for the early stoppers, this is potentially a really major drama. Do you change tyres, or do you say, the sky's lightning, get on with it? Hot slicks on a relatively hot racetrack will survive, and you're going to lose minutes in the pit lane by changing. All right, well, here's the answer here at Lippert. Sebastian Balthazar has made the call on what was a dry track, and it only started to rain here as he came into the pit lane. He's made the call, we don't need wets. The problem is, he's not going to be in the car anymore. Leaders are in as well. It means Alberto Di Folco is now the lead car behind the safety car. Milos Pavlovic is second place in the queue, the Pro-Am leader. Now, because the safety car's out, I now question why ASR didn't bring Pavlovic in. Pavlovic is the quicker driver of the two, but he's not quicker behind the safety car. He's no quicker than anybody, so it makes no sense to keep him out there, bring him in immediately, and get the second driver in, some of whose drive time will be burned up behind the safety car. Now, here we can see a tyre change. Is that... I don't know. I mean, how much is it going to rain? I mean, look at the track, look at the pit lane. It's barely damp. There's a lot of wind. In a couple of moments, it's going to be dry. I don't know. I'm not sure. I'm not convinced that wets is the way to go. I know it's raining now, but where are the cars spinning off all over the place? I shouldn't have said that, should I? There's only one way of knowing. And again, the lightning flashes above us. There's only one way of knowing, and it's to be out on the track. But right now, none of these cars are slithering around all over the place. Of course, they're going very slowly behind the safety car, but you've still got an awful lot of horsepower to try and put onto the road. And I'm still saying, what on earth is anybody doing behind the safety car? If you're in a multi-car team, and you're not the best placed, then I sort of understand. You bring your best placed car in first. Ooh, the Boots and VDS car very nearly overrunning the chicane there. Again, slightly giving a lie to my assessment that the track may not be one for wets. Wipers on the number 6 car. And that is now Gilles Stadsbader. And he has come out ahead of Amaury Bonduelle. Now that's really significant, but the reason he's come out on ahead is because all of these cars have a mandatory stationary time in the pit stop that they must serve for safety reasons, so that you can do a driver change without rushing a driver out without his belts done up, for instance. If it's a 2-driver car, they must be stationary. Okay, you need wets now. You must be stationary for 60 seconds at least. If it's a single driver car, the stationary period is 63 seconds. Amaury Bonduelle is driving on his own, and that's why he lost the lead in the pit stop. So, having said confidently, it looked like it was clearing up, and it's not wet weather, tyre weather now. It is not particularly clearing up, and it does look like wet weather, tyre weather now. Cars that have been released from the pit lane after their pit stops. Again, we've got no way of knowing if everybody's on wets or not. This is a Karim Oj car. The 93 machine has stopped. Karim started that car, and Mauro Lucia Gostamacchia has just left the pit lane and got not very far. Now, not quite sure why he stopped. You can see him rolling there. Just a third of the cars in that shot. He stopped to try and figure out how I don't know, turn the wipers on. It sounds like a silly thing, but if it's not something you've done before, there's the unique racing car in the pit lane. Jerzy Sprinkelwitz driving that car on his own. So again, 63 seconds stationary. Now, in the heat of a normal race, your in-lap and your out-lap could make that difference up. You could be quicker because when you come out, you're used to the car, you're used to the tyres, you're used to the brakes, but behind the safety car, there's no way of making that up. Little bit of rally crossing there. Again, straight out of the pit lane. That's Alfredo Hernandez, the Mexican driver in the 77 BDR competition car. Got away with that. There's GM Motorsports' Marco Gersager. Now, Marco might be all right in a gravel trap because he comes to circuit racing from a background in rallying. And again, we're not looking at 3.2 or 2.9 second Formula One changes, are we? This is two mechanics with an air gun and some fairly large tyres, not 6 on a corner. Milos Pavlovic stays out. He's got 2 minutes and 50 seconds to get back into the pit lane. He needs to come in this lap. Even at full racing pace, he needs to come in this lap. Oh, and there's trouble. And there's the Belgian car. And that might be a red flag. Well, the all-Belgian lineup, Stéphane Lemaire had just handed over to Rodrigue Guillon a couple of laps ago, and he's just lost it. Was there contact? No. Now, having seen that, the rescue road is just on the right-hand side there. They might, this is up at Variante Alta, right under our cameraman. See him step back there, just to the extreme left of your shot. Step back on his podium. But they might be able to rescue it, but it is at Variante Alta. I'm not sure that they can get him back behind the barriers there. Not really sure he wants to be reversing that out into traffic and driving it down to the pit lane either. Safety car is already out, but a rescue vehicle may well be needed. Safety car coming past the pit lane, and that's why the red light is on at the pit exit, so you don't pull in into the middle of the safety car queue. Now, these are tough times for race director Alain Adam, because he's got to decide whether to red flag it or whether the marshals at the scene tell him we can recover the car in a gap after the safety car. Problem is now, with all these cars coming in and out of the pit lane, there will be more cars coming up at speed behind the safety car queue, because they don't have to do it at 80 kilometers an hour. They can go as fast as they dare, and on the wet weather tyres, that's actually going to be quite quick. Oh, beautiful stuff. Boys in the EVS are doing a great job with some of these weather replays. This is like Masters Golf. We're getting replays of the weather. Well, of all the things I was anticipating might happen in today's race, I didn't have any of these on my Lamborghini Super Trofeo Europe bingo card, I'm afraid. One retirement so far, and that is Joachim Galasch, the man who spun his rival into the wall at the start. And I'm sensing, Galasch has been in and out the pit lane, I'm sensing actually that car was probably more damaged than we might have guessed at the start. It's quite possible that either the steering was damaged or maybe the cooling. Either way, we remain under safety car, and the pit window has closed. So the pit window closed with 20 minutes of the race remaining. And they're up on the approach to Variante Alta. You come out of Tosa, up the hill, sweeping left, and you're braking uphill over the brow. Car goes light just as you get to the maximum brake pressure for retardation and clatter into the barriers. So, pit strategy and whatever, I think sort of went out of the window there, because this became a scrambled lottery. Now the question is, of our early stoppers, did anybody go onto slicks or stay on slicks, and have they then had to come in? There have been 2 pit stops for Rex Alviol Course's Cyril Saleh. Now, he's driving solo. We know he started the race. He is the... Oh, no, he's not the only one that stopped twice. So the Oregon team, Paul Levey is in the pit lane, and Davide Roda is in the pit lane as well in their number 14 AM car. And those are both making their second pit stop, or have made their second pit stop and are now back out on track. And I'm assuming a second pit stop can only have been because they stuck it out on slicks and followed my advice. Never a great idea. That's why I'm a commentator and not a team manager. I jump to conclusions quicker than Bugs Bunny. Right now then, everything has changed. Trying to write a race report of this, it's going to start with, it rained and then carnage happened. Well, actually carnage happened before it rained, but there we go. Target Racing's Lagim Ali is our current race leader in Pro Car number 9. So that's him. Liebert Motorsports, Jakob Riegel is second in car number 70. This is the safety car queue. Oregon's Enzo Gerazzi is third. And Renault Coupens for Boots and VDS is leading in Pro-Am in car number 2 and is 4th overall. And that car started, checks notes, down in 28th place. Well, it's raining, and that means it's time to wheel Dakota Jane out into the rain in the pit lane.
Well, how the weather has taken a change for the worst. I'm down here in the pit lane with Mathieu. Now, what is it like to be on track in these kind of conditions?
I mean, the track is a lot difficult, especially in sector 3. There's a lot lift, and so now we'll see my teammate Jill, and so we'll see.
So if we go to green flag, do you think Jill has the experience with the Super Trofeo to be able to, you know, get to that first place?
Honestly, I have a lot to understand in the start because I have in front of me Marie Bonduel, so it's difficult the condition, and so.
Also, will he be able to get the tyres up to temperature, because the temperature has considerably dropped since we started the race?
Yes, the drop is a lot because the condition now is cold and a lot to lift. So
good luck. In bocca al lupo.
And then they might need, like, honestly, it looks like it's sort of 9 p.m. at Le Mans right now. There's cars coming by past the safety car, and all we can see is headlights. Yeah, if you want a nighttime Lamborghini Trofeo Super Trofeo Europe race, you've got one, and the red flags are out. Well, now then, that's interesting. 15 minutes and 45 seconds on the clock, but the clock is still running. Red flags are out. The race director has decided that it is not going to be safe, at least in the short term, to release the cars from behind our safety car. There he is. You can just about make him out in the murk because he's got the yellow flashing lights on the roof. Everybody else has got their rain lights on. Race director Alain Madame has decided that it is not. And this will be reports from the marshals, and especially also report from the safety car crew, because they're on track in a car that is as close to Super Trofeo race car spec as possible, and that will give the best feedback on what's happening here. It is very, very wet. And as the final couple of cars leave the pit lane, Diego Lacanto, the boss of DL Racing, is the last man out of the pit lane in number 72. And with Joachim Gallas retiring in the pits and Rodrigue Guillon up at Variante Alta, I wonder whether actually the inability to move Guillon's car has been part of that as well. There he is still there. It is as wet as you like. We're in the middle of an electric storm, and the race has been called. So we've got more than three-quarter distance, so that should be a full points race. We're nodding, we think that should be a full points race. So the race has been red flagged. with some 15 minutes of driving. So unfortunately, those who took over during the pit stops have done very little other than try and survive some fairly grim weather conditions behind the safety car. But what it does mean is that our top three will be the number 9 Target racing car, which is being driven by Lagim Ali and was started by Oliver Söderström. They are our race winners. Second place, Leipert Motorsport. Jakob Riegel took over the number 70 car from Sebastian Balthazar. They take second spot, and the view as they come down the hill into Rivazza makes it look an awful lot lighter than it does from my window, I have to tell you. It's still looking fairly grim. And in third place for the Oregon team, with their familiar Neapolitan colours, Leonardo Caglioni and Enzo Gerazzi. Fourth place and winning in Pro-Am is car number 2 from Boutsen VDS. Renaud Coupens will be hoping when he starts tomorrow morning that he gets a little bit more of the actual driving rather than just the following of the safety car. Rui Mayhouse started that car, where did he say, down in 14th place. They end up 4th ahead of VSR's number 6 machine. That's Gilles Stadsbauer, who took over that car from Mattia Michelotto, who we were just hearing from. They started on the outside of the front row, and they were second. They got ahead of Amaury Bonduel. I'm sure you can pick that up on the microphones as well as the rain. There is significant thunder overhead. It just occurred to me, I'm in the commentary booth, my car's quite a long way away. It's the problems of being stranded out in the rain, as all the fans will have now. Then Brutal Fish finishing in 7th and 8th. And the number 54 Brutal Fish car, which is being driven by Jason Keats, having taken it over from Charlie Martin, who started the car, they win the Lamborghini Cup class, and they win it ahead of Artline's Nigel Bailly, who was driving on his own in car number 40. He's 9th overall, and he wins the AM class. So it was a proper topsy-turvy race with a proper topsy-turvy result. So our pro winners, Target Racing, car number 9. Pro-Am, Boutsen VDS, car number 2. Lamborghini Cup winners, Brutal Fish Racing, car number 54. And the AM class winners, Artline, car number 40. And all those 4 category winners were in the top 9 overall. 2 cars failed to make it to the finish. Everybody else back into the pit lane after red flags and rain stopped play. Well, our thanks to the marshals from the Lions Club of Bologna and everywhere else who have flocked to Imola this weekend to keep all the racing drivers safe. Unfortunately, having had a fairly grim forecast for the weekend a week out, today was the day where it was likely maybe to have a little bit of rain. In the end, it turned out to be quite a lot of rain. Even if it's going to be short-lived, it was a fairly heavy storm. And there's no option but to bring the race to a premature close. I think our camera crews and our marshals, as well as our fans, will be fairly happy to take shelter, wait for the storm to pass before they head to the car parks and head home. Don't forget that this is not the final day of action here at the Autodromo Internazionale and Giordino Ferrari here in Italy. This is day 1 of 2 of racing for the Lamborghini Super Trofeo Europe. They will be back on track tomorrow morning at 09:45, which is 07:45 Greenwich Mean Time. Wherever you are watching this, you can adjust your local time to suit. We'll be up around 09:30 to 07:30 Greenwich Mean Time with our coverage of the race. And hopefully the weather forecasts, or is forecast to be a lot better. Hopefully we'll actually get a full 50 minutes of track action. Well, there's going to be an awful lot of drivers here and crews feeling fairly frustrated with the way that things have worked out, because those who had early pace and pace in qualifying have maybe not been able to show it quite as they would have hoped. The safety car led more laps than anybody else in that one. Early leader, our pole sitter, Amaury Bonduelle. Well, he'll score points for, what'll that be, 5th place. He was 6th overall, but there was a Proam car in front, so he'll score points for 5th. And Gilles Stadsbacher and Mattia Michelotto will score points for 4th. Of course, the extra point for pole position also going to Amaury Bonduelle. Qualifying session 2 from this afternoon will define the grid for tomorrow. So we'll have a different look to our grid. Same 52 cars, hopefully all will be repaired. The number 27 CMR car of Roger Guillon, and the number 22, pardon, I beg your pardon, mechanic motorsport car of Joachim Galasch. Both of whom had, we've seen in Galash's case, maybe under the skin some damage after that pre-start crash. And certainly Roger Guillon, that car's going to need a front-end rebuild. Everybody else, though, it seems, made it through safely and pretty much in one piece. There's going to be an awful lot of teams who will be looking for a different day tomorrow. The target, Racing, Leipert Motorsport and Oregon. Cars number 9, 70 and 61, though, they are on the overall podium. And they will certainly be hoping for a little more of the same. You can see who's been in the car, dry, and who's been in the pit lane, wet. Well, we should be getting our various podiums underway. So top 3 in Pro, car number 9 from Target Racing, number 70 Leipert Motorsport, and 61 from Oregon. Top 3 in Pro-Am, 4th overall, car number 2 from Boots and VDS. 2nd in Pro-Am, 25th place, car number 10, the Lamborghini Stuttgart by Target Racing car. And 3rd in Pro-Am, down in 32nd place, ASR's number 33 machine. In the AM class, 9th place overall is the AM class winner. That's car number 40 from Artline, Nigel Bailly, who races on his own. 13th place, just 4 cars behind him, Leipert Motorsport's Anthony McIntosh, the second of our American duo, finishing the race behind the safety car. And they finish in 2nd in the AM class. And also in the top 20, 19th place is our 3rd placed AM car, and that is Oregon Team's car number 14, Davide Roda, bringing that one to the line. And our final category is the Lamborghini Cup. Jason Keats doing the anchor leg. Boat anchor in this weather. He finished 1st in the Lamborghini Cup class, 8th place overall, ahead of the AM winners. 2nd, 20th place was the GT3 Poland car number 90. And finishing the AM podium, Autosport Racing, Peter Matic bringing the number 32 car across the line in 3rd place, and in 3rd in class and 27th overall. It's a massive mix of potentially 4 different sets of driver abilities and relative speeds. Dakota Jane there, finally being allowed to come in from the rain. Crazy race to start the season. Forecast for tomorrow morning, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, is considerably better than the forecast for today was. So hopefully we will have dry conditions. You never know, maybe a nice sunny day that doesn't require them to have the wipers and the headlights on quite so much. It's starting to clear up a little, but the weather has not been kind to the end of the day. Well, for everybody here at the circuit, I know that you are listening. Thank you for coming out to the Autodromo today. We hope to see you again tomorrow. Tomorrow, of course, the feature race will be the 6 hours of Imola, round 2 of the FIA World Endurance Championship. But before that, we will have race 2 of the Lamborghini Super Trofeo Europe, and hopefully another 50 minutes of hard-paced action. It's a bit of a desultory picture, just the patter of rain on the microphones.
Un grazie a tutte queste figure professionali, così come a tutto lo staff di Podium.
So our track announcer also thanking the marshals, the stewards and everybody else who's been responsible for getting this race meeting happening today, through some fairly marginal weather conditions right at the end. Awful lot of post-race banter going to be going on from this one, isn't there? I think this is the one that came up on zero for an awful lot of people when perhaps they might have gambled on black or red. It's not the result that anybody was expecting. Stephen, the PR man, who is going to have to try and make sense of this in a press release later, who's watching it alongside me in the booth and has now had to belt across in the driving rain to get some thoughts from our podium finishing drivers. So Imola, the venue for the season opener of Lamborghini Super Trofeo Europe. Next time out, we go to the awesome Spa-Francorchamps, 2 fabulous European Grand Prix circuits in a row. And then the third race weekend, yeah, the support for the 24 Hours of Le Mans. Tell you what, if the cars weren't exciting enough, the calendar is pretty darn special as well. You start off in Imola, you go to Spa, then you go to Le Mans. That's only half the championship. That's a very, very exciting racetrack list to start the season. So we're going to hand out some champagne. The drivers will then start to replicate the damp state of most of their pit crews, I imagine, who have been in the wind and the rain down in the pit lane. So this is our overall podium, and our top 3 are all in the pro class. So from Oregon Racing Team, the crew of the number 61 machine, Leonardo Caglioni and Enzo Gerazzi. In second place from Leipert Motorsport, you can see Sebastian Balthazar and Jakob Reigel, but our race winners from Target Racing, Luciano Privitello, I beg your pardon, and Oliver Söderström and Lagan Ali. Target Racing claim the first win of the season. It will be a full points score as well. Italian anthem rings out for our winning team, Target Racing. Trophies and fees will be handed out to our drivers. Third place for the 61 Oregon team crew. The Pirati strike again. Second place for Leipert Motorsport. Leipert with a long, rich history of racing Lamborghinis of all kinds in all sorts of categories. And Target Racing, they claim victory first time out here. Pole position, by the way, to Amaury Bonduel. Also claimed the fastest lap of the race. There's no point for that, but a moral victory. There's a trophy for the winning team as
Signori,
well.
per le photo, so please can you just take place on the main step of the podium all together, really close to each other for the pictures. Right, smile, showing your trophies, and now, if you want, si brinda prosecco! E brindano giustamente perché c'è entusiasmo. Bene, dopo l'entusiasmo.
Well, there we go with the champagne.
Il prosecco. Siamo pronti
And
per,
our top 3 teams,
dopo le foto, le immagini, ci saranno anche le interviste televisive.
I'm sure, sleep fairly well.
Invece al prossimo allestimento.
All qualified
Quindi
relatively well.
vengono poste le bottiglie di prosecco
And,
sul podio. Noi ci prepariamo per la
Prosecco has
categoria
been sprayed.
Pro
They will
e
go
Yen.
backstage, and hopefully we will catch up with them, with Dakota Jane. Well, a little bit of a disappointing way of ending that race, with the red flag bringing it to a halt after rain stopped play. Let's hear from our winners, though. Dakota Jane is with them now.
Guys, a massive congratulations. Not probably what you pictured this morning, winning a race, but still a win is a win.
Yeah, it is. It is really a win, and I mean, it's not down to us as drivers. I think it's down to the teamwork, to our genius engineers. So thanks to him, thanks to the team for doing good calls, and yeah, just super happy.
Lagam, you happy with that result?
Yeah, I'm more than happy. I did not expect that at all. Well, listen, I found out today there's more ways to win a race than just driving. Apparently just surviving is enough. I really have to thank the team for that.
And what's the plan for tomorrow?
Well, we start in P3, so a bit better than today. Plan is to keep up with the guys in the first stint and then hit on the counter on the second stint.
Congratulations, both of you. Well done. Go celebrate.
Yeah, congratulations to them, Lagmali, qualifying 3rd. So they've got a great starting position for tomorrow. They may end up on the podium again.
Per raggiungere il gradino più alto, questa volta solleviamo il cappellino e ascoltiamo l'inno nazionale belga.
As we hear the Belgium anthem for Boots and BDS, this is our Pro-Am winning podium. And they and the rest of the guys and girls will be back again tomorrow. Don't forget, race 2 will be on air just before the start. It's at 09:45, 07:45 Greenwich Mean Time. Wherever you are, thank you for joining us. We'll be back tomorrow with race 2, hopefully in beautiful weather for the Lamborghini Super Trofeo Europe here at the Autodromo Internazionale Enzo Edino Ferrari in Imola. Till then, it's goodbye for now.
Un grande applauso a tutti, invitiamo Federica Teneggi, coordinatrice del Super Trofeo Lamborghini, a consegnare il trofeo. Cominciamo con il bronzo che aspetta la scuderia ASR Milo Paolo Luigi Alessio Ruffini, l'argento per la squadra Lamborghini Stuttgart by Target Racing con Guido Lucchetti e Kyle Berman, la vittoria per il team Boots and Budes con Ronald Kupensa. E ora Giulio Rizzo, il responsabile marketing di Hankook Tire Europe, detiene il trofeo che va direttamente nelle mani del team che conquista la vittoria, il team Usen Budes. So please can you take place on the next step of the podium for the pictures? All together, please. All together, can you come be closer on the main step of the podium, the first one. Ok? Look at the camera for the kicks. E dopo questo grande podio si brinda Prosecco! Allora andiamo subito con le interviste TV. Bene.
Ro, congratulations, both of you too. I mean, it was a really different kind of race than everyone had expected, but a result is a result. How are you feeling?
Yeah, really great. The team did a great strategy, and we are a little bit lucky with that, but yeah, it's a nice opportunity for together to win the first time. And I hope tomorrow will be the same.
Great points for the championship and great start to the season. Now tomorrow is going to be another challenge. Are you ready?
Yeah, I think so. We're starting from one position higher, so hopefully we can keep on, like Renault said, keep this result going. And yeah, again, amazing strategy from the team. I don't want to call it luck. So yeah, just a shame that we couldn't finish the race under green flag, but it is what it is.
I think you've learned today that other races can be won, not just by winning. Thank you very much, both of you. See you tomorrow.
Complimenti davvero Federica Penneggi, coordinatrice del Super Trofeo, porta e consegna il trofeo in bronzo ai terzi classificati Peter Matic, Paolo Biglieri del team ASR, quindi l'argento all'equipaggio del team GT3 Poland Holger Arsen, e quindi la vittoria, l'oro per il team Brutal Fish Racing Jason Kitz, Charlie Martin, un bel applauso. E ora abbiamo Giulio Rizzo che rappresenta Hankook Tire Europe con il trofeo per il team, l'equipaggio che conquista la vittoria, ovvero Brutal Fish Racing, Jason Kitz, Charlie Martin. Andiamo con le foto, so please all together on the main step of the podium. Can you just climb on the podium all together for the picture? Perfetto, guardiamo i fotografi, vai con i flash, le immagini, i flash, e ora si brinda Prosecco! I protagonisti hanno festeggiato sul podio, ci saranno le interviste, nel frattempo andremo a prepararci per accogliere i piloti della Lamborghini categoria AM, quindi dopo aver salutato i protagonisti della Lamborghini K e la Lamborghini AM, ecco le bottiglie di Prosecco che vengono poste sui 3 gradini del podio, procediamo subito, ci sono già. Facciamo accomodare, cominciamo con i terzi classificati, Team Oregon Racing con Pietro Perolini, Davide Roddo, un bel applauso! Ecco Pietro Perolini con Davide Roddo che raggiungono il podio.
Congratulations, both of you, on a very difficult race, but you won it by a landslide. Charlie, walk me through the beginning of the race.
I mean, from the start of the race, it was clear that it was going to be pretty intense. I mean, straight off, the sky was like night. It was like driving in the dark. Next thing, everything's blowing off the trees. It was really, really unlike any other race I think I've done in that respect. Just tried to keep it together. Rain started coming down. But it was only just before I came into the box, like penultimate corner, it really came down hard, and I called the wet tyres and handed over to this guy who did a sterling job.
And a very good job. You're still laughing and smiling from it. It couldn't have all been that bad.
It was definitely a bit sketchier than I expected. I was a bit terrified at some corners. Towards the end there, it was particularly dark and wet, but the goal was just bring it back in one piece, and I knew we'd be okay.
You've done more than bring it back in one piece. You bring it back in one piece in the first place position. What could be better?
That was definitely a surprise after the race to be told that. I had no idea where I was on the lap, so it was fantastic.
Didn't matter till the checkered flag came out. Thank you very much. Congratulations, guys. On tomorrow.
Everybody was pushing, then braking. It was such a nightmare, so everybody spread up, and then we had some guys spinning in the straight lane. I mean, that was very nightmare. And then after that, I tried to catch up because it was very hard one. I was not able to put the tires in the right temperature, and at the end, we managed something. My engineering told me to go and pit in at the right moment of the race, because I told him, okay, it's going to rain a lot. I've seen on the screen that it was already raining, so I told him, okay, we have to pit in now. He told me, yes, that we have to do. And then we came in and we made the perfect pit stop, and we went back on track. And he told me at the radio, okay, you are P1. I was not in the mind of believing that. So at the end, we had it, and congratulations to the team, because they gave me a super car, and all the team and my partner as well. So I want to thank them for that.
Thank you very much. Congratulations and best of luck for tomorrow.
Grande applauso! E a questo punto